Thanks for joining us once again for your update from the city of New Hope. The mayor is with us, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. If you noticed, I changed my background.
I do
That's
like
now the golf course the way it looks today.
the beautiful trees out there, a little frosted look, and we will talk about the use of that golf course here in winter in just a few minutes of how it does not sleep all winter long. It gets some activity. Let's begin by talking about the airport, the Joint Airport Zoning Board. Again, remind us what this is and what some of the activity that they're looking at right now is.
Well, I've mentioned this a couple times before. This is the Crystal Airport, and all of the cities around the airport are involved in this. And even though we don't touch the airport, the planes come over here, and so we have some rules. So they now have a draft, and that draft will go to all the cities. They'll review it, and then you'll be able to see it online on our website after the 7th of February. And then there'll be a meeting on the 23rd of February in which that's a Crystal Community Center, in which you'll be able to look at the plans. The reason they do that is they want to make sure that buildings don't get built too tall. They don't have towers that are too tall that impede the planes that are coming in. So all of us have to agree to this, that it probably will put some restrictions on how high something can get built in New Hope, but it just makes sense to do that.
All right, and again, we'll show you that date and time later on in our calendar of events that are coming up in the area. Let's now talk about scattered site housing, a couple properties to talk about that are in process. How are things moving along?
Slowly. It's always slowly. So 3611, that demolition bid is in. Now, the community development guys will look at that, make sure everything's included that should be, look at the cost, and then they'll present that to us and the 27th of February at the EDA meeting. Now, the EDA consists of the same people that are on the council. In some cities, the EDA is a different group than the council, but for some reason, they've chosen the council is the same group as the EDA. So sometimes when you're watching the meeting, it seems silly because we'll have to cancel one and go right to the other, and it's the same people. But it's, those are the rules.
And the second we want to talk about is 4201 Boone. Again, what process are they in right now?
So the scattered site developer has submitted his plans, and again, the community development guys will look at that and they'll present that to the EDA on the 27th of February also.
Another activity that happens on a regular basis out of community development is the business networking group. And Mayor, I understand it was a fun time had by all, lots of information and then a little activity at the last meeting.
There was. It was held at the New Hope facility because they don't have a facility that's here. And the hosts were
Art of Dance.
Art of the Dance. Thank you. So we had the meeting, and everybody tells what's going on in their business. And then the gal had to stand up and dance. And just, it's the whole group is supposed to be helping kids, this Art of the Dance. They help kids in schools to become more socially compatible. They also work with seniors and people with mental and physical handicaps. So they're all over the place, and it's really kind of fun. We were doing we were sitting, we were standing up, clapping, and a fun time was had by all.
Excellent.
So the next one is March 1st, and that's being hosted by St. Therese. That's at 2:00. We don't know if it's going to be at St. Therese or the golf course or City Hall, but there'll be something that comes out to tell you where it's going to be. But that's at 2:00 on the 1st.
We have another business update to pass along. This is a business use certificate of occupancy for a business that does some things that you might not expect happen in the city of New Hope. Tell us a little bit more about what is happening at this business.
R&R cultivation. And they are growing mushrooms indoors. And I imagine in the dark, I don't know. So that's happening in about, 42nd and Oregon, I believe that is. So it's just a new business that's there in New Hope, growing mushrooms.
All right, and one building permit and inspection to update on, and this involves a big tank that is going underground. What business is involved in this?
It's Patagus, and that's the building that's right behind Holy Nativity Church. We've talked about them quite a bit in the past. They are putting in a 9,000-gallon tank, and I don't know what's going in that tank, but they needed a permit, of course, and plumbing permits to do that. So they're in the process of expanding, and anytime we can get a business to expand in the city, that's a good thing.
We have an update from the police department that involves community engagement, great ways that they're connecting with the community. And I understand you were part of this connection activity as well, and it involved chili.
It did. So the police chief, the community service officer, Brad Callio, and one of my council members, Mike Eisenberg, as well as the chair of the Human Rights Commission, went to Broadway Village to taste chili. Now, I was raised on my mother's chili, so of course that's how chili should taste.
Right.
I had no idea there was that many different tastes to chili, but it was actually very fun. We had little cups and we tasted all the chili and we ranked it. And we found the winner and crowned him and gave him the sash, and he paraded around the building. It was just so much fun.
Hats off to Broadway Village for putting that together with the city. Let's go to Public Works, talk a little bit about the snow. Thankfully, no snow for a while here, but that does not stop Public Works. There's still lots of cleanup. Where are some of the specific areas that have done some extra work?
Well, there are places where you absolutely have to get out, and that's the police department, the fire department, city hall. There are times when you just need to get that snow out of there. So they're in the process of clearing away that snow, where they just put it in trucks and haul it somewhere. I don't know where it goes. Maybe to the golf course. I don't know. But so they're busy doing that.
All right. Other things related to snow and things around your yard. If a mailbox get hit, or maybe the yard gets chewed up a little bit, or maybe there's a new pothole that appears because of the change in weather here, you want people to let you know, correct?
I do. They need to call Public Works, and you can either look that number up or you could call the city number and they'll give you that number. But do report that, because it's the city's responsibility to fix your yard if the snowplow happened to dig up some of your grass or knock over your mailbox, or if you have a large pothole in front of your house. We don't always drive around and see those, and so it really helps for you to tell us that they're there. However, keep in mind that it's not going to get fixed while there's still snow on the ground. Mm-hmm. But at least we know about it. It goes on a list, and we kind of compile that, and then they'll go about fixing all that stuff in the spring.
And the city's website, newhopemn.gov, you can find those phone numbers there and information about getting those words into the city of what is going on. One other note related to getting rid of the ice and the snow, and some training that went on regarding salting. Tell us about that.
Well, apparently there's a trick to when you salt and when you don't. So we sent 4 of our maintenance guys to a smart salting class, and they learn how much salt to use, what salt, sand. There's good things and there's bad things about the salt. The salt melts the ice on the street. However, it also washes into the rivers and the lakes. So there's a happy medium there, and they go to classes to learn about how much.
One other big project that Public Works is working on and has been for some time, and there's a next session of it coming up, is the sanitary sewer lining. Again, remind us what this is and tell us about the inside process. What do they have to do to make this happen?
Well, it's actually kind of exciting. So they're just finishing up on the 2022 project, and what they have to do, it's a 2-part system, and they have to televise and clean out the sanitary sewer. And then they put in some kind of lining that cures in place. Now, I don't suggest that anybody go onto Netflix and watch the televising of the sewer systems, but know that they do that. So now the 2023 projects, they'll send out letters to the people that will affect. And again, it's a 2-stage process. They come out, you'll see them twice. They'll come out and televise, and then they'll look at where the holes are, and then they go and clean that all out. And then they put in this tubing that cures in place. It actually helps so that we don't have to replace the pipes as often when they line them like that. And so they don't have to dig up the streets. And obviously it's a lot less expensive.
Exactly. We'll keep residents up to date as that process moves along. Let's head to Park and Rec and some activities that are happening and people might want to get involved in. First is perfect for right now. It is snowshoe activity kits. So you have an opportunity to help people get out and enjoy winter.
They do. Our Park and Rec department has snowshoe kits, and there's a couple adult sizes and a couple child sizes in the kit. You can rent the kit, and I think you get to keep it for a couple of weeks. And of course, you can always take the snowshoes and go to the golf course and go tromping around the golf course on these on these snowshoes. So keep in mind that you can go to City Hall and rent these kits. They're really kind of fun.
Excellent. And classes going on all the time in Park and Rec. Zumba you would recognize, but here's a new one, and we love some of the names they have. It makes you want to go just to find out. We have something called Happy Joints Yoga, Mayor.
I don't know what that means, but it's probably self-explanatory.
Yes.
So both of these classes, they're getting started. They're like 4 or 5 week classes, and they'll get started this week now. So if you're interested, get yourself signed up real quick and have happy joints.
Yeah, lots of ways to get involved. Speaking of getting involved, you have that golf course picture behind you and been promoting the winter golf event, and I hear it was a success.
Amazing. Mother Nature really stepped up on this one for us. So it was very, very cold on Friday. And on Saturday, all of a sudden, the sun came out and got nice and warm, and the place was just packed. So lots of people there having lots of fun. It's silly. It's not competitive. It's just silliness.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's a fire pit on the deck, and they can make s'mores, and there's hot chocolate inside. Just a fun family activity, and really, really busy.
That's fun. Hats off to the crew there going through that event, and they are busy doing other things to prep the golf course, understand work on trees, and also work on equipment going on right now.
Well, our new supervisor, Ricky, is there, and the poor guy, he's back in the shed, looking at the equipment, maintaining it, repairing it where it needs to be. He's doing what Mark used to do, and now Ricky's back there doing that. So he's on board, and he's really busy, and he's part of the golf thing on Saturday, which is kind of fun for him, his first event.
Fantastic.
So the other thing that's happening is they want to get those ash trees down while it's still frozen. The ground is frozen. And so now this nice weather is really giving them a chance to get out there, get that stuff down, and clean up the mess before the golf season opens.
Let's head over to the ice arena and talk about some of the busy activity there. That's always a real busy place at this time of the year. What's going on? And again, what are the opportunities to maybe watch some hockey action or get out and skate yourself?
Well, the youth hockey is having their 36th annual tournament. It's an invitational tournament, and it's the Bantam A's and the Pee-wees. So these are the little guys. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever gone to a hockey game, especially a tournament with those little guys, it's really, really fun. So that's going on, or that went on last weekend. I just want to remind people that if they want to skate on Friday or Sundays, they need to go online to make sure that it's open for open skating. And the boys have a tournament this week, not a tournament, a game this week, the boys high school on Tuesday. And so they play at 5 o'clock, the juniors play, and then at 7 o'clock, the seniors play. So they're fun games to watch too.
Yeah, always a lot going on at the arena. And one thing that you might not know is available at the arena, and this might take us into spring and summertime as well, is there's a batting cage, Mayor. Tell us about that opportunity.
I did not know this. I just found that out. So we have a batting cage. It's available to rent for $20 an hour. You have to bring your own pitching machine and, of course, your own bat and balls. And you can just get ready for the season. So whether you're playing softball or baseball, either one, it's a good place to go. It's warm, and you get to do some practicing before the season starts.
Another great use of that facility. Let's hop over to finance. We don't talk about the finance department much, kind of some unsung heroes within the city, but you just wanted to provide a little overview of what they do and also a little note about some franchise fees as well that help the city out.
So these are, we call them our unsung heroes. They're the ones that are paying the bills, taking the money to the bank, filling out the bank receipts, doing all that bookkeeping, getting ready for the audits. And they're just this quiet little group just busily doing that. And they're doing payroll, which is a big deal every 2 weeks, at least for the employees. The other thing they're working on is we get about $119,000 from XL for franchise fees. And half of that goes to the street repair, the street fund. And about the other half will go to the general fund. And that money is used because when XL comes out and has to dig up your lawn or dig up part of the street, we use that money to make those repairs after XL leaves. So that's where that money, it comes from franchise fees, and that's what that money is used for.
Quick note within HR, within the city of New Hope, evidence technician position is open, and something you wanted to make sure residents knew about was available.
Well, almost all the cities around us have evidence technicians, and we don't. Somebody just has a piece of paper and they try to keep track of what's in the evidence room. Well, we're getting more and more evidence, and so we really need somebody that categorizes it and knows where it is. And at times we have to reproduce that, or find it in case we have to go to court. So we need this evidence technician. We did post a job internally. We did not get two qualified candidates, so then we went externally. Now that will be, you can go online and look at that. That'll be open until the 13th of February. So if you're interested in that, please apply because we need one.
Other notes of things going on in the city with all the snow out there. You might have to find the right kind of snow, but the snowman and snow sculpture contest continues on. Again, how can residents get involved in that fun?
It's going to be really warm this week, so you better get out there quick. This is a good time to do the snow structures. When the snow gets kind of compact and then it starts to warm up, it really does well if you stick it in a bucket and press it down. You can make little cubes out of this snow and then make your structure out of that. It is not real good for snowmen, but I think it might snow one more time. So they have until the 31st of March. And if you're going to do that, make your snowman or your structure, take a picture, name it, and send it into the Park and Rec Department. And we'll have the judging after the 31st of March.
Sounds like fun. There was a special recognition of a longtime commissioner for the city of New Hope, and this man's done a little bit of everything, hasn't he?
He's done a little bit of everything. His name is Jim Brinkman. And they went through the list of things that happened in the city while Jim was on the planning commission or on some other commissions that we had. And the list goes on and on and on. And he was such a valuable asset to the community, and we're really going to miss him. When we gave him the award and then let him speak, well, he had a lot to say. And we were glad to hear it because he remembered all of those projects so fondly. So we're gonna miss him and thank him very much for what he's done for us.
Yeah, thanks to Jim Brinkman. A couple other notes to pass along. You wanted to just update residents related to the police chief, city manager pay. Some information about that lately here, and what can you tell us?
Well, there was something in the Sun Post just recently, and I want to make sure that people understand what's going on there. The police chief, Tim Hoyt, has been doing the city manager job and the police chief job. And so everybody in the city got a 3% raise starting this year, and that includes Tim Hoyt. Well, because he's actually doing two jobs, and he said he was going to continue doing that until we hire a new city manager. He has decided that he isn't going to be able to do both jobs. He's just going to do one, but he'll do both jobs until we get somebody. So we agreed to give him a 5%, an additional 5% raise while he's doing those two jobs. When we get the city manager, then we'll start backing that raise out a little bit, depending on how much work he's doing to train the new city manager. But considering what he's doing for us, I think that's just a small stipend for him.
Final note to pass along. We want to urge residents to watch their mail for some publications that are coming out. What is coming out and what information is stored inside?
So there's something called In Touch. It kind of looks like a I don't know, newspaper. It's that kind of material. And there's a lot of stuff in the In Touch that you need to know what's going on right now. And then the In Motion, that's the book that has all of the activities in. That should be coming out in the next few weeks. And so when that does come out, don't throw it away because there's lots of really good programs in there. Just reminding people if they want to sign up their kids and it's kind of expensive, they can always come to the city and they can get some help from the city on the fees to get those kids signed up. We really want those kids involved in the programs. There's lots of programs for adults also and for teens. So look through the book, find something, and just want to remind those grandparents if they want to give a gift certificate, kids really like that because it helps defray some of the cost for the parents, and it makes the kid a little more excited to get something that he really wants instead of socks.
One final note that we'll pass along. We're going to hop back to Park and Rec for just a second, and the Aquatic Center. Nice thing to think about as we end this segment, but they are posting jobs already. So the call is out for people to help at the pool in the aquatic park. Is that correct?
Everybody that works there just loves it. You're outside and you're in the sun with lots and lots of people. So the job openings are on the website now, so you can go and sign up if you're interested. Most of them are part-time, so they work really well for those kids that are in high school, college, and home for the summer. And everyone that works there just thinks it's fun.
Here's that website once again, newhopemn.gov. You can find out more about the job postings or a lot of the other activities and events that are happening in the city. And speaking of events, stick with us. We've got a list of some of the things coming up in just a second for you. Mayor, thanks once again for your time. Enjoy the nice view of the golf course there, and we'll look to talk to you again next week.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Bye-bye.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.